So I've been drawing for right around 4 years now, and up until recently, I've never actually sat down and studied anything in particular, you know. And I think for a lot of things about drawing, you can get away with that, but especially anatomy, you gotta actually practice that. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in like a human body, and you need to take this time and actually learn, you know. And unfortunately, I am lazy. I used to do this cool thing called only draw portraits, therefore no anatomy needs to be studied. The real meta here. But I got a little sick of not being able to draw people at all, so, I'm going to show you guys what I did to improve my skills. We still got a long way to go, but I've been seeing quite a lot of progress this way, and I've had a lot of fun with it as well. So, this does assume that you have a baseline level of drawing skills, or at least know what your weaknesses are. But if you don't, I don't care. Alright? Just watch my video. And one thing that I, as a naive little shrimp, thought was, why do I even need to study? I practice when I draw the girl, you know? And some of the main reasons that you should probably sit down and practice, especially your weak points, is that for us stylized enjoyers, you need to know the rules before you break them, otherwise your art looks bad. And I don't know about you guys, but before I started practicing consistently, my art had such a bad uncanny valley effect, I was about to crash out, go ape mode, and just quit drawing. Alright. And maybe if you're one of those weirdos that just draws realism all the time, this is less of an issue for you, but I noticed it in my art and a lot of other people who do more stylized stuff. We're breaking some rules that we don't know exist. Alright? And one of the other main reasons to study is that it just takes less time when you know what you're doing. I know it's a crazy concept, but just being mid just adds so much redrawing to a thing that just doesn't need to be there, you know? And before we get ahead of ourselves, we should really narrow down what we need to practice, right? And you may think, well, I'm bad at everything, so I should practice everything. Well, you may be right. That isn't really the best move, because that's like a speedrun any percent burnout route. I would recommend is just finding the top 3 things that you're really bad at and only worrying about those for a bit. You really don't want to waste your time practicing something you're already good at, you know? Because if your hair looks amazing, but your hands look like potatoes, why would you practice your hair? So what I decided to practice was just my general proportions and construction of the whole body. Because I thought I was pretty alright with portraits, but when you zoom out and give me a full body to draw, it just looks like an ass, dude. Well, now that we know what we're going to be practicing, so when you're studying, there's 2 main ways to get resources, right? You can either pay for some books or get some stuff for free online. And honestly, it's up to you. I tried either way out. Both worked honestly the same, so it's free game at this point. And if you want to go the free route, there's quite a few good options for you out there, to be honest. One of the main ones that comes to mind is going to be just Pinterest. There's also quite a few different Twitter accounts and just websites out there, like Body in Motion, that have a lot of good resources, but it's depending on what you're studying, right? If you're going specifically hands, Pinterest is killer, but if you're doing something a little bit more abstract, you might need to do a little surfing. Might even need to put the fedora on it, however, to Reddit. I'll have some boards that I use linked in the description as well, you know. And if you want to be a pay-to-win baller like me, you can just buy some anatomy books, right? I use the taco books, but here's a few other good ones that I've heard from my friends that, they really like, but I haven't used them, so maybe they're lying to me, Maybe my whole life is a scam and I should just quit drawing and delete my channel. One of the things that I really like about the taco book is that it's just a lot of pictures, not a lot of words. I wouldn't be reading the words even if they were there, so it's good that they're out of my way. It's also a little stylized, which I feel helps me understand what's going on more. But if you're doing more realism or anything like that, it might not be the book for you, just because it is mostly an anime style, And that also rings true for a lot of these other books, is that they're all in slightly different styles, so you'd kind of want to choose one that matches the one that you're going for, you know what I mean? So really, to summarize, the main pros of the free route is that it's free, honestly, you can get the same amount of info, but you just gotta dig for it. You gotta put a little legwork in. And then if you go the book route, they are usually more organized, clearer images, and just better descriptions, but they can get pretty pricey, especially some of the ones I've seen fucking triple digits. And at that point, I would just go free, to be honest. And now that we have our resource of choice, what you want to do is just learn, all right? Just copy down what the book is telling you with the specific issue that you have, and just try and absorb and just understand why it is the way it is. And then once you have looked through, exhausted your resources and willpower to live, we can move on to stage 2. I've honestly always found this step pretty enjoyable. So what you want to do is just crack open your Pinterest board of all your fun references, preferably of like actual people, and you really just want to hammer in what you've just learned so you don't forget it. So usually how I like to format this is doing a study session and then immediately followed up with a practice session of the same thing. I've had a lot of success with doing that, and then it's staying in my long-term memory for when I want to use it later in like an actual drawing, Because, what good is it if you study something and then immediately forget it all? Because that's what I do if I don't do this. So another thing that I think is pretty important is to set like a line of when you want to move on. Because you'll probably never be 100% happy with the progress you made, but you should definitely not just practice the same thing over and over, because that's one way to never improve. So you really want to just practice and just kind of repeat the loop of study, practice, until you've reached your point of moving on, and then just get on to the next thing. Because, we're here to draw some anime girls, not practice hands for 40 years, you know what I mean? So now that we've done all the hard work of like practicing and actually studying, we need to actually incorporate it into a full drawing. And depending on what you studied, this can be actually a little tricky, because maybe your style changed only that one thing. Maybe your eyes suddenly are realism now, cry about it. One thing that I like to do is choose a composition that uses what I practiced, just to really seal the deal and get some good experience applying it in like a full drawing in your style, incorporating it into your workflow, using all these big words. And if we're lucky, this is where the process ends for this thing that you suck at, but you suck less now, and that was the point. Just a few little final words here. Kind of the whole point with this is that you're really just getting in, getting out, getting the practice that you need, and then drawing some cute baddies, and then rinse and repeat when you find a new thing that you suck at. I kind of like to do this as just like a daily warm-up thing, and then that way I'm like perpetually getting better at things that I suck at, while also having some fun drawing some, who knows what. But I really wouldn't stress about it too much. If you miss practice one day here and there, not that big of a deal, because if you think about it, if you practice 4 days a week, that's a good week. If you have 3 good weeks, it's a good month of practice, Don't put too much stress about it, because if you start stressing out, not having fun, then you get burnout, and then your art just looks bad anyway, no matter what you do at that point. This is my first time doing like a little process tutorial thing, so let me know if you enjoyed it. I'd love to do more about, who knows what, but I think that's all I got for this period of time until the next video, so peace.